Hi again. This is Price Auction Corner from the Boring Trader. This is GG, and this is video number 3 of the series. Now, you remember from the previous video, we actually started from here, and we saw how the bulls were in control, and they actually reached their first target for the day. They pushed up. There was quite a lot of battle here on this support and resistance line, and at a certain point they managed to break this double top here, triple top here. They break it here, and this was the moment where the most likely and the most probable long could have been taken in order to see if they tested this level here, and they did. Now, continuing on this, I'm expecting now that we reached a point where the bears have regained some strength, and they're not gonna concede this territory very, very easily. If they do, it means that really there's nothing there, and they retreated to the next level. But as you can see, let me see here, as you can see, they are battling here, and now they started being a little bit more aggressive. Now, what could they do? They could start pushing the market down to some point. If they're very strong, they will retest this level here, and this level here. From after that is this level here. From everything was started from here. Quite a lot of movement to make. In the meantime, we're looking at this moving average here. You see that this moving average has been observed quite a lot of time, and we will see also what happens when the bears, if and when the bears are gonna encounter this line here. So these are fixed points in the battleground, and this is a mobile point in the battleground. As you can see, the bulls were quite content to reach their targets, and now they're relaxing a bit, and the bears are taking this opportunity to push the market down. That's another sign that the bears are more and more in control. This is another interesting point. Now, some people may have, let me see, may have started tracing a trend line here, or possibly from here to here. And they say, well, the trend line is broken. They reached this level here, and from now on, I'm gonna be bearish. I'm gonna be on a short side, which has some merit actually. Some other people, many other people, especially the trend followers, they say, well, I will never take this short, because this is a trend that is going up, and this will be according to the trend following system, this will be a stupid thing to do. I'm pretty sure that the market are gonna stop at some point, and this is what I'm going to be buying again in order to retest this level here. And you know, there's so many different views. I'm trying to see how many people are backing one and how many people are backing the other, and try to piggyback on where the real momentum is. If I wanted to be quite aggressive, actually, after seeing that this trend line was broken, and after seeing that there was no reaction to the breaking of this line, and after seeing this bar here especially, I can probably venture a short. This would be a highly aggressive move. That would be a scalp, to see if we actually manage to get to the trend line. But again, it's a matter of preference. Let me get rid of this. You see there is some reaction here from the bulls, but nothing special, and the bears are again. So this is another point where if you really are aggressive, you can go short and try to see what is going to happen. First of all, at this obstacle here, the trend line, and then at this other obstacle. I'm just suspecting that the bears may find support here or here. The bulls are not too interested in confronting them until here. I would prefer actually the bear to be a little bit more assertive and test some of these points, but these are close enough. And for the first time, there is an upward bar that is actually breaking the previous bar. You see, this was a green bar, but it was a lower high. This was a green bar, but it was a lower high. This is a green bar with a higher high. So that means that the bulls are more serious now. Again, it depends on the aggressiveness of your temperament. You can actually start getting long here for a retest here. This is what quite a lot of trend follower will wait for, to see a retracement to some particular point and get back in again. And by the look of this, it looks like it's probably the winning strategy. In fact, there's another pretty assertive bullish bar, and definitely another try to get up to the psychological level of the 1400. So this is pretty much the morning. It's 12:30 now. What is going to happen now? Well, as usual, the bulls can make another try to push the market up. Volume is a little bit lower. It looks as if, however, this level here, and as you know, it has been tested already several times, this level here is quite strong. And unless something happens now, the American markets are going to open relatively soon. There's going to be some other news. I don't expect much to happen here. I would expect the bears to try to defend this level. And in fact, they reacted, they went back. The bulls tried to test it again. The bears, okay, the bears are trying to push it down. This is a more assertive move, but you see how they encounter the moving average, and they are basically compressed between this level of resistance here and this level of support given by the moving average. Also, it's now 1 o'clock. Clock is ticking. Not a lot happens usually at this time, unless you have big news where we stay out. Not a lot happens. This is interesting now because, well, there are some news at 1:30, US news. From 1 o'clock, 1:30, I tend to switch to the US indices. This is where the action is going to happen, especially after 2:30 when the New York market opens. But because of the correlation of the DAX with the US indices, it has an impact here. For simplicity, I will just keep looking at the DAX. This is an important point here because the bulls don't seem to be too eager to retry this level here, whilst the bears are now reaching this level, and they can give a pretty strong signal if they break that moving average there, that there might be something more on the bearish side than the bullish side. As you can see, this is a shooting star, and And this level here is a level in between times, but the bears seem to have a better hand. This is now an important point. So they actually managed to break this level here, which is the moving average, and this would be the next level. And look at this. Yeah, this is a very, very important issue here, because what we have talked about so far is what happens in the absence of major information, major talking points or announcements or things like that. Even the various news in the US markets that were happening at 1:30 never happened. Now, as you can see, the volume was pretty low, and suddenly you have this very assertive bar with this volume bar, which is higher than all the previous one. This is 145, and this is important because there is some Mr. McLeod from the ECB talking. I have no idea what he's talking about, but every time anyone from the ECB or the Fed is close to a microphone, you might expect that something happens. You might exploit it. I tend to stay out because even if I'm right, the slippage that you usually have at these points is really huge. So if we were short here, you are playing with fire because there was somebody from the ECB talking, but you would have been very lucky actually, because whatever he said, he created a bearish environment. And when you have a pretty strong bearish environment, there's not a lot of resistance points and support points that can help them. Let's see if these points 1, 2, and 3 are important. It doesn't look, but we still have quite a lot of ammunition for the bulls. And this is a very interesting bar for the price action players, because there's a very long wick. It's almost a pin bar, and it happened exactly at the psychological level at 13,900, and it pushed back, especially if the next bar is going to be a kind of bullish bar. Well, it is in a way. There's another attempt to break this psychological level, and they didn't manage. Now, in terms of price action, there is another opportunity. Look at the volume here. There is another opportunity here. This means that there was some sort of announcement. It wasn't factored in, because if it were factored in, obviously it wouldn't have had this impact. The market sorted out this impact, and now you have two big wicks and two big rejection of these two important levels. What usually happens is that the market, which was comfortable at this level, may have discounted this information and will go back to that level. So you might want to try another long here for a target about here. These two bars are telling you a little bit of that story. And in fact, the bulls are kind of making progress. You also have to keep track of another thing. Now it's 14:15 London time. 14:30 London time is when the US markets open. And something like this happens in the US market, and it's the open. It's equivalent to this. So this may have an effect on the DAX and every other index. They're all quite correlated. I don't trade the first bar or so at 230, whatever index I trade. So I might have entered here if the things were not done and dusted by the next bar or something, just 10 minutes or 15 minutes before New York Open, I will get out. And in this case, I will probably get out here. As you can see, there's a kind of doji there, and this is what I was talking about, 230. There's no reason for the DAX to move in any shape or form, apart from the fact that it's correlated to the US indices, and the US indices are moving quite a lot now because it's their opening time. So let's see how this pans out. As you can see, big wicks and big volume. Doji, nothing specific happens. And at this point, really, this is not a market I want to trade. It's too messy. The only thing I might want to trade if it's not too late, and remember there are some other announcements at 3 o'clock, so let's wait for the 3 o'clock. There you go. What could happen here is that the bears finally will break. I will give it a little bit of a buffer, and they will break this psychological level here, and they will try this pivot point here, and then the other psychological level here. That's another attempt. You see how many attempts they try to have at that psychological level, and how many times the bulls are pushing up. This time the bulls are pushing up. This is the trend line, the moving average that was forming at a kind of support. It could form a sort of resistance here. Now this is where they touched. If they move up here, there could be some good chances that the bulls are firmly in control, and they will test again this level here. This is a difficult point because this is the breakout point for the bulls during the ECB talk. So the market from here could go really anywhere. As you can see, it stopped. Now, if it moves a little bit higher here, there could be a chance. But now we're getting to quite late. Well, there's a chance. I still have time. And it goes up again, and almost there to retest the, well, there you go, to retest the big psychological level. So this was a good place to enter, but this wasn't, and you see why. We just waited to see if there was any kind of momentum for the bulls after they reached this important level here, which is the moving average. Again, I'm talking a little bit too much. I hope this was helpful. I will post other videos, but this will be it for today. I've already done 3 videos. Any questions? Well, you know where to find me. Take care.